There comes a moment in life where you stop showing up the way everyone expects you to. You don't announce it. You just stop over-explaining, over-giving, overextending. You stop softening yourself to fit into spaces that never considered your comfort in the first place. You begin to retreat, not because you're bitter, but because you're finally clear. Clear on your boundaries, clear on your worth, and with that clarity, everything begins to change. Suddenly, your absence speaks louder than any long-winded explanation ever could. You didn't block anyone. You didn't send a dramatic goodbye. You just stopped being available. And that silence, it echoes. It unsettles people who once had unrestricted access to your energy, your time, your presence. You're no longer their emergency contact for emotional crises. You're not the person who answers every text immediately or fixes every unspoken issue. You've stepped away, not to punish, but to protect. To protect your peace, your growth, your space. Becoming unavailable isn't a strategy. It's a shift. A shift away from begging for attention at tables where you were only ever tolerated, not treasured. A shift away from being emotionally accessible to those who disappear the moment you need what you so freely give. It's not that you fear connection. You're just done pursuing it in places that keep you starving for reciprocity. You're no longer playing the role of the emotional lifeguard in everyone else's drowning stories. This evolution isn't loud. It's not wrapped in bitterness. It's grounded, peaceful, and it's powerful. You stop reacting. Not to be mysterious, not to manipulate, but because your inner world no longer dances to the chaos outside. You don't respond to the silent treatments with desperation. You don't craft essays to win back those who only loved the version of you that served their needs. Now, their silence becomes a mirror, not of your failure, but of their inability to hold space for someone real. And that mirror doesn't hurt anymore. It frees you. You begin to witness what happens when you no longer perform for love, but instead, just stand in it. Some people drift away. Others push harder to stay close, but not because they value you, because they hate losing access. And that's the truth no one talks about. People don't always miss you. They miss what you gave them. Your time, your energy, your healing presence, the attention that came so effortlessly from you. And once that's gone, they scramble. But you don't flinch. You've stopped giving discounts on your spirit. You no longer hand out your essence like samples, hoping someone will finally decide you're worth investing in. You've realized the cost of being too available. And now, your presence is priceless. Not in an arrogant way, in a rooted way, in a I know who I am and what I carry kind of way. You rest more. Guilt less. You say no without essays. You breathe deeply and answer slowly, not because you're detached, but because you're intentional. You're not jumping at every buzz of your phone. You're not molding yourself to fit emotional expectations that drain you. You no longer bend until you break just to keep the peace. You're not cold. You're just not a caretaker for chaos anymore. And the world, it starts to notice. The same people who used to call you too available now don't know how to reach you. And they shouldn't. Not in the same way. Because the version of you they took for granted doesn't live here anymore. There's a quiet beauty in not needing to be seen to feel real. You've seen yourself. And that's enough. You're not ghosting anyone. You're just not engaging in cycles that loop with no growth. You're not playing hard to get. You've simply stopped giving yourself away to people who only ever wanted your light, not your shadows. You've changed. And they'll say that like it's a bad thing. They'll say you've become distant, hard to reach, too quiet, and they'll be right. But what they won't understand is that you're not ignoring them. You're prioritizing you. There's no grand exit, no final post. You just start choosing yourself, moment by moment, like turning off notifications, like skipping the reply, like allowing someone else's disappointment to exist without rushing in to fix it. You don't explain every no. You don't justify your rest. You let the silence speak. Because now, your time is sacred. Your peace is the priority. You laugh more, worry less. You don't spiral over things that once ruined your entire day. And no, that doesn't mean you're unfeeling. It means you've stopped caring what was never yours. Your boundaries become gates, not walls. You still let people in, but only those who knock with intention, who show up with respect, who bring peace, not pressure. You've rewritten the rules of access, and with that, something else changes. You start measuring your relationships differently, not by how long you've known someone, but by how you feel when you leave them. Are you lighter or heavier? That tension in your shoulders you used to ignore, you notice it now. That drained feeling after certain conversations, you no longer brush it off. That inner scream when you say yes while meaning no, you've started to honor it. You've stopped betraying yourself for the sake of comfort. Because every time you abandon yourself for peace outside, you ignite a war inside. And you're done with that battle. You don't seek approval from the people who only ever wanted access, not understanding. You don't explain your quiet. You don't perform your value. You just live it. You take your time to respond, not out of arrogance, but out of care. Because your energy is no longer on clearance. It has a schedule, and you finally run it. You're not everyone's mirror anymore. You're not here to reflect what they want to see. You're here to honor what you truly are. This alignment, it makes you magnetic. You're not louder, just calmer. Not aggressive, just grounded. People feel the shift, even if they don't understand it. The old you would have tried to explain it. The new you lets them figure it out, or not. You're not unreachable because you're hiding. You're unreachable because you're no longer standing in spaces where your soul couldn't breathe. You no longer move from fear or the need to be chosen. You move from self-trust, from clarity, from direction. You're no longer waiting for apologies that won't come. You're not hoping for closure from someone who couldn't even offer honesty. You're not searching for validation in empty hands. Because now you realize your validation lives inside. And the moment you stopped needing the room to clap, that's when you really began to dance. You're not isolating. You're refining. You're not withdrawing. You're being intentional. You're not cold. You're finally warm to yourself. You no longer entertain the bare minimum. You no longer accept relationships built on your over-effort and their under-contribution. You're not on call for everyone's needs anymore. You've handed in your resignation letter as the emotional 911. Now, you protect your mornings. You wake up slowly. You don't check your phone out of habit. You check in with yourself first. You protect your words. You speak less, but when you do, it matters. You no longer waste your breath on those who listen to argue. You speak for truth, not attention. You don't chase anything. Not validation, not closure, not understanding. You align, because now you understand. Not everyone deserves your explanation, your effort, your access. You're not disappearing. You're arriving, fully, authentically. You've stopped proving, started being. And from this place, life begins to meet you differently. It brings the people who see you clearly, the opportunities that reflect your worth, the peace you once chased in all the wrong places. This is what happens when you stop being attainable to chaos and become magnetic to purpose. You've stopped editing yourself for acceptance. And for the first time, you're not asking, "Do they see me?" You're saying, "I see me." And that changes everything.